Welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily, and it's exciting this morning because I don't know whether she's the red lady, the purple lady, or the pink lady. Whichever one. All of them work. Abioko.
But where did purple and pink come from?
No, it's like shades within the same color range.
Within the same
kind of
spectrum.
thing.
All right. I can roll with
yeah.
that. I can roll with that.
How you doing?
I'm well, and
Yeah?
thank God you didn't wear a pink suit.
Oh, the pink suit, you know.
I mean, no shade to the pink suit wearing men, but
I may release it though. You know, who knows?
I mean, what you wear, we'll just call you Pink Panther and call it.
I know, right?
Pink Panther.
Yeah.
But I like the hues, you know.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I love the quote of the day we had today. I just wanted to just talk about it briefly before we go into. Cancer is not a word. Cancer is a word, not a sentence.
Right.
John Diamond said that. Cancer is a word, not a sentence.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what jumps to your mind.
No,
when you think
so
about that.
I mean, cancer is a word.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you look in the dictionary of English,
Yes.
and there are all sorts of definitions there. You look in a medical journal, there are definitions there too.
Yeah.
But when I hear it's not a sentence, for me it's a double entendre. It's a pun.
Yes.
Play on words. So it's not a sentence in the sense that, yes, grammatically speaking, cancer as a single word cannot form a full sentence, right? But at the same time, it's not a life sentence.
Yeah. Neither
It's
is
not
it
a death sentence, you know. So you're not, resigned to live with it for
Forever,
life.
yeah.
And you're also not resigned to die from it.
Yeah.
You know, so depending on how early it's detected, and we've seen survivors right here on Breakfast Daily. We've spoken to them. We've touched them.
Yeah.
You know, and they've touched us with their stories. And some of them have gone one round, second round, had a relapse, come back.
Yeah.
But they're still living, they're still walking, they're still breathing, they're still impacting. And more importantly, they're sharing their stories.
Yeah.
And that's been encouraging other people. Some of them are going into hospitals, oncology centers, you know, and just encouraging people who are currently dealing with the challenges of cancer.
Yeah.
So for me, that's what it is. Cancer is a word. Yes, it describes something terrible, something horrible, something that we don't wish on our worst enemy, you know. But at the same time, it's just a word.
Yeah.
It's just a word. And more importantly, it does not mean that if you have cancer, does not necessarily mean that you're going to die or that you have to live with it for the rest of your life, or that it has to change the person that you are, and your purpose on this earth.
Fantastic. I love it. Love it. Yeah. So, speaking about, you know, changing your circumstances and your purpose on this earth, yesterday we brought you a story that has actually changed a lot of people's lives. Flooding in the New Joburg area, and unfortunately, we've had a report of a death of a middle-aged man in the aftermath of the flooding. And I want to take a look at this report quickly. We'll come back and then we'll speak to our correspondent who brought us the report.
Half of the Akwadum community, Electricity Company of Ghana Regional Office, Efijiase, Highways, Abrewan Kwanta, Asokori and other areas were all submerged on Sunday night. The several hours of downpour displaced hundreds within these communities and caused destruction to properties. Unfortunately, residents of St. Mental, a suburb of Koforidua, woke up to see the lifeless body of a man believed to be in his late 50s floating in the flood waters. The police and the NADMO, who went to the scene with the help of some community members, managed to retrieve the body of the middle-aged man who is yet to be identified. The police, who have begun investigations, are calling on relatives to come forth and help identify the victim. According to some residents, they believe the unidentified body was carried by flood water from a different area to their community, as the man is not known in the community. The New Joburg North Security Council, the MP for the area, Highways, Fiddle Roads, NADMO, EPA and Fire Service also toured affected communities to inspect the level of damage. The team, on reaching the affected areas, saw residents cleaning the filth left behind by the floods. Others were busily rearranging their setups and drying the wet items. It's been almost 60 years since flooding of this magnitude was recorded in Akwadum. The Member of Parliament for New Japan North, Nana J. Boateng, is not a happy man. He believes the entire drainage system in the municipality should be redesigned.
It's about the solution to the problem. But even what we tackled at Suka, we have not been able to do it. It's a matter of, they always say that we don't have enough resources for this kind of thing. But I think that one thing that we should also be doing collectively is that hydro is over-centralized. They are in Accra, they are not in the regions. They should come into the regions. We should have offices in the regions so the hydro can also handle these things. They are not properly decentralized. Yeah, they are in Accra. I took it up with Wise when he was there. I talked about it several times, that if you have a major flooding situation, they will say, go to the hydro people. And where are they? They are in Accra.
He ever blamed Galamsey activities upstream as a major contributing factor to the magnitude of the flood recorded.
I've never seen it like that. And the volume of rains that we had in that catchment area would not have given us the floods. The floods are coming from upstream. And why are they coming from upstream? Because those are areas that are endemic for Galamsey. So that is what is the challenge that we have. People want to get rich and they are endangering the environment for us. And it's a responsibility for all of us. It's not for only the political figures. It's not only for the chiefs. Everybody.
All right, so there you have it. A number of different things going on there in Akwadum. I think they call the area sentimental. You know, the new Drabing area basically. So I think the report mentioned about 5 or 6 different areas that were submerged, you know, including the ECG office and other places, submerged for hours after the downpour. The number of questions that come to mind. First of all, where is NADMO in all this? I actually don't see, because we've done 2 reports. This is not the first one. We've had one before, you know, and we don't see the presence of NADMO. People are counting their losses. They don't have somewhere to sleep, you know. So I'm asking myself the question, are the NADMO, that's supposed to be the coordinating body, happy? And when we call NADMO, they say, okay, our boats are there, they're rescuing people, we've taken the mattresses and all those things. But we saw this report in there. We don't see the presence. But it'll be interesting to find out if they've actually gone there and what they're doing there.
Right.
You know.
And I mean, I'm sure we'll speak to Neil Kanaku soon, our Eastern Regional correspondent for Citi News. But I mean, it could be that NADMO is there and they just haven't been captured in any of the reports
yet.
You know?
Yes.
Perhaps the focus on the reports has been the devastation that's happened. But it could also be a wake-up call for us.
Yeah.
Because really and truly, we know that NADMO is not as well equipped as they have to be.
Resourced, yeah.
You see. And here is a case where for the past few weeks or so, we've been talking about floods.
Yeah.
Not just in the Eastern region. This one has just come to us this week. But we've been talking about floods in different parts of the country, right? And it's been different levels of destruction and devastation that have, you know, shown their faces to us. Now, if that is anything to go by, and of course we'll have to speak to NADMO to understand this, but it would mean that NADMO is spreading themselves thin, you know, and this is a conversation that we have not had to the extent where, we're really putting pressure where pressure needs to be put, whatever that means.
Yeah.
So that NADMO can be properly resourced. The way we even treat NADMO is like, oh, okay, when it rains and blankets and mattresses.
And I think it's a reflection of our sense of value for human
For me,
life.
whenever I've seen
right.
proper concerted efforts, rescue operations, when floods have come, all sorts of disasters have befallen the country, the army has had to come in.
Yeah, yeah.
The army has had to come in.
You see it in the US, you see it in the UK, you see it in other jurisdictions, Europe. You see it. Whenever there's any major disaster, flooding, whatever, the army is always called into action.
But I'm saying that even in Ghana,
the major ones in Ghana,
the major
you see
ones
the
here,
army,
the army has had to come in.
Yes.
So I don't know. Again, perhaps we have to speak to someone from NADMO at some point. Maybe that's a conversation we can have on another day, really talking about what is available in terms of resources to NADMO, what some of the challenges are, and really how they are coping. Because every time something like this happens, we are calling NADMO's name.
Yeah.
But really, do they have what it takes to go into these spaces, perform rescue operations, coordinate the efforts of, so yesterday, for example, we were speaking to Neil, we heard that the fire service had to come in because some fuel station, it was now flooded. There were deposits of water in their underground reserves. We've heard all that. Should we travel back to June 3, right here, Circle?
Yeah.
What happened, in 2015?
Yeah.
And how that involved almost every agency possible. We call it the twin disaster for a reason. Should we, again, revisit the explosion at Atomic?
Yeah.
So every single time, NADMO has, we've had conversations, okay, we have blankets, we have this, but do they really have what it takes to coordinate and then also to address the issues that come with natural disasters like this? I think that beyond everything today, even talking about what's happening in the Eastern region, that's a conversation that we need to have and address.
I think even their mandate needs to be extended or to be expanded, because I think that just as you have, for example, the National Guard, in the U.S., and they are called in major disaster situations and all of that. I think that's probably maybe what we should be looking at as opposed to a coordinating organization, right? It's like they should be resourced enough and capacity built enough that they on their own move into action rather than coordinate.
Well, that's the kind of
and then when you
resourcing we're talking about.
Yeah, and then when it goes way beyond your capacity, then you can call in support from other places.
But you've even taken it a step further. If even with the coordination, the resources don't seem to be there. When we expand what we're expecting them to do at the level which you've just described, then again, where do resources come in?
But we were here with 50 ambulances, 50, and the 50, all of them were broken down at a point. Ambulances were not moving and everything else. And then, lo and behold, we just said, hey presto, and there were 300 of them. So I'm saying that I think that when we put our priorities right, we will find the resources to make it happen. It's just that in Ghana, human life it doesn't have that much of a premium.
So on another day, let's talk to NADMO and really understand what their challenges are. We can go there and really see for ourselves what it is. Perhaps we're speaking in the air.
Yeah.
But Neil Kanaku is on the line. He's our Eastern Regional Correspondent for Citi News. Good morning, Neil.
Yeah, good morning, Abiogo.
How are you?
We are doing good by the good grace of God.
Good. Yesterday we spoke to you and you explained a lot of what has happened in the Eastern region, and all the things that are happening within the New Jabin area. And then we're hearing this morning that another life has been lost as, a result of, again, what we spoke about yesterday, 2 days of incessant rains that had poured in the area. So what's the situation this morning?
So this morning, residents in the affected areas are still counting their losses after the devastating rains which occurred in the region over the weekend. Now, when you go to Otokpolu That is there's a bridge that connects Asesawa area, Otopolu Asesawa area to the Odumasi area. Now that place is quite a short distance when you want to connect from Asesawa to the Odumasi area. Now that's the bridge which has been earmarked for construction. There's a river that flows through that side. The river shall overflow its banks, and for 2 days now, a lot of activities have come to a halt in the area. Now, commuters have been rendered helpless in that area because the level of flow is still high. So drivers and other commuters are not able to connect from the Odumasi area using the Asete Mountain area into Asesawa and Otopolu. So that is the current situation in that area. Now, when you come to Insawam, that is in Insawam Zongo, over 2,000 residents have been displaced in these flats as well. Wow. Now, other affected areas are Jankrom, Lante, Adwejiri, Okubeye, Oreku, and the Lorry Station. Now, these rains have caused a lot of havoc because majority of residents in these areas have also lost a lot of properties rain. Now, itself, a lot of people have also been displaced in that area. When you go to Akotia, when you come to Asamantese, so more than 6 municipalities in the eastern region have been affected by these rains. Now, when we visited the Akwadum area yesterday, we saw a lot of destroyed items, properties belonging to residents. Now, businesses are trying to bounce back on their feet today, especially when we went to one hairdressing shop. Every item in the shop has been destroyed by these rains. Now, these people are calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, come and assist them. Now, some of them, more than 10 homes, mud houses, and some big houses were also washed away in that process in the Akwadum area. Now, these affected people I spoke to indicated that some relief items in the form of building materials, cement, i.e. cement, roofing sheets, will help them in this period. Now, according to them, even though food and then other basic needs will be welcomed, what they need is to fix their homes because they don't have any land or anywhere to move. So these are their pleas. Now, the Member of Parliament for New Japan North, who also visited the scene with music, that is the New Japan North Municipal Street Council, also made some strong indications that he believes that Galamsey activities upstream, i.e. the Citi area, the Ponsu, Osiem, Osino area, is the cause of the heavy floods that were recorded over the weekend at Akwadum area. Now, he also added that the drainage system in the municipality should also be relooked and redesigned by engineers in that regard. So basically, that's what is happening currently in the eastern region. Now, when you go to the regional office of the Electricity Company of Ghana, which was also badly affected yesterday, some engineers had to come in, that is mechanical engineers had to come in to assess more than 30 vehicles which were submerged in the process. When we got there, they had opened the bonnet of these vehicles and trying to assess whether they can be reused in the process. So this devastating floods that occurred over the weekend in the region has really caused a lot of havoc to residents, business owners, and citizens in the eastern region.
Okay, Neil, so from what you're telling us, it seems like electricity has also become a problem at this point.
So during the flood, majority of the affected areas were put off by the Electricity Company of Ghana. They were put off, but from today I've picked signals that since the water has receded, most of these areas have been restored back onto the national grid. Because they were had to cut off the national grid because of the floods. Managers of the Electricity Company of Ghana didn't want to have to record any fatality in the process because most of the poles were also submerged in the process. So they needed to take off the power from these affected areas.
Okay, Neil, what about the areas that are, around and very close to the River Densu, because we know that Densu has also overflown its banks. What's happening in those spaces as well?
Yeah, that is the Akwadum area. You know, the Akwadum shares a boundary with Suhum municipality. That is the New Japan North, New Japan North, and then the Suhum municipality. The boundary is at the Akwadum bridge. That is the Dinsuano, the Bong Dinsusu bridge. It separates the two municipalities, and there's a very big bridge there. That is where the Dinsu flows. So all the inhabitants. About a kilometer or something away from the bridge were all affected, were badly affected in that process. A lot of homes were submerged in the process. A lot of properties have been lost in the process. So those areas were badly affected. And then the Sawam one that I also indicated, the Densu flows through the Akwadum area up or down to the Insawam. So that's the same thing that caused the havoc in Insawam as well.
Okay, Neil, so we're also curious, what kind of relief efforts have been brought to the area since this all began over the weekend, if any? Have we seen NADMO and all of this? Any individuals coming together to sort of try to fix the situation? Are you seeing, I know yesterday you mentioned the fire service because of certain things that had been happening, but what kind of relief efforts, if any, are you seeing?
So currently we are yet to see any form or sort of relief items from NADMO. Even though during our visit yesterday and our rounds, we saw NADMO personnel in NADMO branded jackets among the team, but with the relief items, we are yet to see anything of that sort. I questioned the municipal Secretary for New Japan North on it, and he indicated that plans were being made to get some relief items for the people. I also interviewed the MP for Suhum municipality, that is Boafo Kojo Asante, who also indicated that he personally was going to see to it that he organizes himself and also get in touch with NADMO HQ in Accra to find out how they will come to the community and assist people in due time.
Okay, so at this point, you haven't seen NADMO on the grounds?
In the form of relief items being distributed, we've not seen anything of that sort.
Okay, but have NADMO officials been there to assess the situation?
I've not seen any team from the national, but the municipal NADMO offices, that is New Japan North Municipal NADMO office, and then the Suhum Municipal NADMO offices, some of them were at the scene to assess the situation.
Okay.
All right. Just a quick one before you leave us. The Densu River that overflowed its banks, has the bank subsided?
Come again, Gabriel.
Have the waters receded?
Yes, it has. But it's still full, but even though it's left the community, it's still flowing and it's up. The level is still up.
It's still high. Okay. All right. And when was the last time the Densu overflowed its banks like this?
Okay, according to residents, the last time it did was 1968.
I see. Okay. All right. I'm actually asking because I just wanted context for the conversations that we've been having. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Neil, we appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we've been speaking to our Eastern Regional Correspondent for Citi News, Neil Ni Amate Kanaku. David.
Yeah. So, and a number of things. Well, there's the post and aftermath, aspect of it, where we want immediate and urgent help and relief to come to those who've been affected, which I think it's critical that it happens. And so we need NADMO to be, like you said, if they were resourced, we'll probably see a lot more action and a lot more engagement on the ground.
Yeah, because from what he said, at least for the on the district, community level, officials have come through, but
to do
nothing
assessments.
Yes, to do assessment, but nothing from national yet. And I can understand. I mean, an assessment is always important.
Yeah.
But if you were resourced
Yeah.
to a certain extent, you bring in your big guns and just come and see what you need and you know, go right in with it. But if you don't have as much as you would require, you'd go assess so that you can tread cautiously and not waste, as it were, precious resources. You know.
So you know, anything of this nature, for me, can be considered national, even though it's not nationwide. Because it's quite a serious problem.
No, it is.
That has happened.
It is.
And
it
so,
is. If over 2,000 residents have been displaced.
It's a major thing, you know. And so, government, you need to do what you got to do. Minister of Finance and, you know, all those who are supposed to resource NADMO. Let's get boots on the ground and let's get this thing sorted out once and for all. My question in the back of my mind is, since 1958, why now? You know, what are some of the human interventions and interruptions within the ecosystem that may also have contributed to this?
No, I mean that yesterday I asked Neil, if you remember, whether some of these communities have popped up over time in places, because we're talking about low-lying areas in terms of topography, right? So I specifically asked him if we're dealing with places that are not necessarily supposed to be inhabited. He said, well, in some cases, that's what it is, you know, so. All right. Yeah. So let's take a look at another part of the country, you know, something that's happening in the Ghana East municipality. Let's take a look at that report. When we come back, we get into the conversation.
Rains. Without it, farmers are in trouble. Too much of it and communities are cut off, leaving in its wake impassable roads among others. Old bitumen begging for rehabilitation is washed away, gaping potholes wide enough to eat up significant portions of a road network takeover. These are scenes from Abokobi Pantine and Akpom Boy, all in the Ghana East Municipal Assembly. Commuters brave the floods and its unknown potentials of danger. 24 hours after the rains, it appears the roads are passable. Well, the commuters here know the stretch, and so they feel it better.
My problem is from Tema, to Tema, there is no hospital. Only Abokobi that we have hospital. But see the road. If somebody is pregnant tonight and they are sending the person to that place, I see the road. Our women are suffering. All the cars, you can't go even one day before you will go to shop. So we are pleading that we need them to come and do something for us. We are Ghanaians. We are not from any place. We are not Togo. We are from Ghana. So that you come and help us. I hope when you are from Oyarefa to Abokobi, the road is no good. Sometimes the school children, they suffer before they go to school. Those who are going to school at Medina. So we are pleading.
While some plead, others threaten.
My banade, now do vote time. Mi puna do Yavana. Va on a vote. I blame me. Yoja wa monami. Yoja wa lekanami. Yoja wa lekan. Now do time mayala. Mi pona fofo. Mi phone. Mi buna mi ba maminye. Na mi vote na mi ve no anyida zikpe aji ko mi bu mi la. Akobe mi ma nunya mo. Mi onunya la wa mi ava blame me. Mi pom nya pomoda. Echotija de viomate wa to suku ava yo. Kafia ba mi le mi aflu mi le mi akponde de kama mi gba da ko na mi kwa mi ve na nyida zikpe aji kwa mi wofo.
The impatience is palpable.
There's a place here called Ghana Flag. They've done their road. The road is not busy as this road. Abokobi is an old township. We need to fix this road.
But this is Teman, isn't it?
It leads to Abokobi. From Oyarifa all the way to Abokobi. The road is very bad. And Abokobi is a very old town. You need to fix it.
The road in front of the Ghana East Municipal Assembly, how is it like?
They fixed that part.
It's good?
It's good for them.
Fantastic.
But they are not minding this part of the road.
No, it means that as they've done that one, they will come here too.
It's been a long time they've done there and they've never done anything. It's been here since election time.
I've been here for 6 years. Good. Initially, we had third road. Yeah. So I think a year or two ago, they came here. We were thinking they were coming to construct the road. They started with, if you see the drains, a very big drain, they very, very
Is
big
it deep
gutter.
enough though?
No, this one is not. It was very deep, so we were thinking at least the drains were going to be so big. Because looking at here, because of the mountain, when a lot of water descends.
Yeah, plus people are building up there.
People are building up there. So we need bigger drains. But see, the drains were very big, but when they construct after construction, see what they did. Very small drains.
Beyond the socioeconomic difficulties the residents have had to deal with, others carry physical wounds suffered from accidents they attribute to the state of their roads.
Oh, me accident kitu abi.
Oh, kafa. About saying.
Na me nua bi ba me nchen na o di moto ko me bi na me ko ja no kwa kakra na me to from but sia me okay. No.
Na okay speed.
No, nem ko speed bi aba atache bi na slip we here to from.
Na dia sa.
No, ewia kete yakwan ya.
Atache.
Yakwan ya.
Eti ekwan no ho dance die na wo anim.
No. Ekwan ne nya papa. Masa me body nyina o me na me pra ho nze na mentumi anhye mpaboa. Slippers na hye me amede nam. Ekwan ne de high. Masa o to shocks any 1 week. Na say MC ti kromu ha ya. So MC o ti kromu ha ya. Masa M1 hwe less than 3 minutes drive to highway. Na wadu. Enkoso ofa boko bi kwan a eno de anya korete so oware. Yenso yeto abani bi. Yesi so wo fase be ya no ahwe akonta. So wo fase obe ya no ahwe akonta. Ye de adwin ya bibia de ahye etrim. Batam ni duru so ye de yenka se no oma meyo ama ya ye nto aba. Ye beto aba. Batam ni duru so a ene be hu ba bi ye de be fa. O masa ya.
Some shops are shut. Traders say they are counting losses instead of profit. They are eager to see some development. Making rounds on social media platforms within the municipality are photos of stockpiling of gravel for the approach failing at the Abokobi Pantan Hospital Road. It says it hopes to fix the situation by next week.
And there you have a report by Caleb Kuda, our colleague here at Citi TV and Citi FM. And I mean, when it comes to roads, it's almost as though every single day, okay, or let's say every week, if not every day, or every other day, if not every day, we're talking about roads. And it doesn't matter it doesn't matter if we're talking about small roads, highway kind of roads, first class roads, inner city roads. It's always something about roads. I mean, you heard the gentleman say, oh, it's like Owari. And it's true. But David, yesterday, you and I were somewhere, you know, in this town. And it was like craters on the road. We actually felt like we had achieved and gone to the moon. We felt like we were astronauts, you know. We felt like we had arrived in life. We had achieved something so mega, Elon Musk levels.
I mean, the craters in the roads.
Ghana
roads. Anyway, Engineer Abdullahi Muhammad has joined us on the line. He's a road and building consultant. Engineer, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Why are you laughing?
Engineer, why are you laughing?
It's not easy. So let me ask you a question. Now, this one is just as much as I'm not playing mischief with it, it's like a question that really, you know, I'm sure we'll be clutching at straws to find an answer for. Recently, I had the privilege of being in a country that has fixed all its roads. You know, there's no untarred road that has been left abandoned, you know, anywhere in the country. Even when you're going to a village, there are cobblestones, you know. Why are we where we are?
Well, a very good morning to all your cherished viewers. It's money. Money, politics, and lack of due diligence. These are all factors that contribute to where we are. The sense of responsibility has been checked by officialdom. Every area of Ghana has been segmented, and there are area managers of the Department of Urban Roads and then highways. So they are supposed to pick whatever happens within their catchment area or their community where they have been assigned to, and have up to the minute report to the regional directorate, and it's onward sent to the national.
Yeah.
Now I lived the experience of the Oyarifa to Payman because there's a stadium that I constructed from 2019 to 2021.
Okay.
Just around there, Payman.
Okay.
When you get to Abukubi, they call it Prince Boy.
Okay.
So this road that you are showing on TV, I've driven on it like 6 times every week for 2019 to 2021.
Okay.
And whatever the people said is true. The shocks, I use the Hilux, I use the V8, and almost every month when I'm going to do my normal routine service, at least I may have to change one shock or the other, or the coil. Yes, it's that. I just finished changing one of mine just yesterday. It was just got to me this morning in Sawam.
Wow.
And so I know what the people are talking about. But let's just break what is that Payman Oyarifa there.
Okay.
When you just come from the Oyarifa junction, I supervised the Oyarifa road itself, the main road to April.
Okay.
From 2004 to 2006. And so I lived within that area, or I've worked in that area for all these years. Now for the Oyarifa, if you use the right hand side, there are two lanes that can take you to the Abukubi town.
Okay.
When you just exit the Oyarifa road, the left hand side will take you to an estate. I forgot the name of the estate. It's the Focus Hospital.
Yes.
That is fairly okay.
Yeah.
Since I left there like 7 months, it's fairly okay. But the right one that leads to the Airman, Oyarifa town, is the one which is really, really off. In fact, in 2021, when I was finishing my project, I saw that they have brought in very good weathered material to start to compact the various layers to almost the finished level.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, this is a very good material.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like your people were saying, they terminated the contract, or the contractor had to leave the site. Not necessarily because the contractor decided on its own, but conditions that will let the contractor leave the site is not payment of IPC.
Yeah.
I mean, interim payment certificate. So if a contractor exhausts all the financial models that he has and there's nothing to do, he will just put it right into the sector supervisors that due to A, B, and C, I need to exit until when I'm paid my outstanding IPC before I come back to the site. But where the state of the road was before I left there, it was just about less than maybe 15%, and that would have been in a very good shape.
Wow.
Sadly, from the Abukobi police station through where we used to have that huge refugee site at the Pantan Junction,
Yeah.
Pantan
The curve.
I predicted, I think it was Citi TV, and I said that road was not going to live up to a 2 year. Because I saw the last layer, the gravel that was being used to spread before the coat that the bitumen was supposed to do the bitumen. That layer was highly of matrix clay. There was so much clay in that pavement that I saw. And you don't do the last layer to have high PI material and you put the bitumen on it. I was not wrong. In about 5-6 months down the line, it was gone.
Yeah.
So I have said about 2017, I told the Minister for Roads and Highways on CTFM that if we don't start to blacklist contractors who do roads, and the record shows that after a year or two, the roads go bad, then we'll be where we are. And that has to come from the ministry, not you. You can only advocate. I'm a service consultant. I can only advocate. But I have examples of roads I've done that have spanned more than 16 years in the country. The Bay Road is an example. So when we speak into issues, we know what we are talking about. But how many contractors have not been given other contracts when their previous roads have just been destroyed after a year or two?
Yeah.
And they are there. The people who have the documents are the same urban roads, the feeder roads, and the Ghana Highway Authority.
Yeah.
So if we come back, and the roads are very expensive now. When you construct a kilometer of a road, a dual carriage road, it's hovering around 3.8 million United States dollars for a kilometer.
Okay.
So just
mention that figure again. Mention that figure again.
About $3.8 million
per kilometer.
Per kilometer.
Okay.
So you can imagine. And then it's good that you are having this discussion. But please, before I sign off, remind me to just say something about the flood in the eastern. But let me say this one first. The pothole patching that we are doing in this country, it has become like a political cliche. You will see party executives handling pothole patching. In fact, pothole patching, the technique involved is even difficult than the road construction itself.
Wow.
But you'll be seeing some people with a Kia. They have loaded some asphalt on the back of it, and they are doing some pothole patching.
That's the common thing that we see.
What I know and what I've experienced as an engineer, when you have a small pothole, which may be like a cylindrical in nature, you have to come and cut it to a regular shape like a square or like a rectangle to be able to fit the compacted material. You can see the computer has gone bad, we will call differential settlement. Then you will now apply the bitumen in layers so that after some time, the application of roads, vehicles on it will now let it level with the road. Now look at all the pothole patches you see in the country. If we then start to speak and be counted, the politicians are giving out these things, this very technique job to their party apparatchiks, and they are messing up with the pothole patching. 2 months after, it even deteriorates more than what you have, and even affect the other side of the road that has not been affected because of the method that they use in doing the pothole patching. You find out from the Ghana Highway Authority or what we are doing in our communities, how those construction, how those maintenance are done. You see, some of the things we have is that the MMDCs have the District Assembly Common Fund. The MPs have their own MPs Common Fund. So they think that the money has come to their corpus, so they can use their discretion to bring their people to do it. Government should find a way to regulate anything being done on public roads, either by the MMDC or the MP. They should have a say. Otherwise, if
Engineer,
the MP decides to give it,
So, engineer, please wrap up quickly with a comment on the floods you wanted to make before we go.
Well, the flood. I was in Nsawam yesterday, and I saw, like Hineku just said, that from 1968, that's the highest they've seen. For the first time, the river had to go across the main old town in Nsawam around the Densu Bridge. And over 500 to, I think 1,000 plus houses were affected. But now the sad thing is that the channel that carries the Densu from Obrejima, from Akwedum to Accra, all this water is supposed to empty at the Weja. Now, all the encroachment around the Weja and the banks of the river from Nsawam, Densu, Akwedum are the cause of, because now you are reducing the area where the water would have covered. And sadly, the sea is also rising because of the ozone layer, the global warming. So if the Weja doesn't empty its water into the sea,
the Densu also cannot empty into Weja.
Thank you very much. So we're going to have this challenge. But at the longer time, when we have enough time, I'll explain details of this to you.
Okay, thank you so much. That's a fantastic submission there by Engineer Abdullahi Mahama. So you see, I was very curious about when the last time this thing happened.
Exactly.
You know, and it's always related to some kind of human, intervention.
I mean, human beings were the cause of our own problems.
I mean,
But anyway, let's go for a break, and when we come back, the show continues.